Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Stylistpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Damali Fils. And guys, today we have with us Matt and Jenn Martinelli. They are the co-founders of Canvas Me, which is a platform created for beauty professionals to create portfolios, to get themselves out there and get jobs. Now, Matt and Jenn, come on in the room. How are you?
Hi, Damali. So good
Hi.
to be here. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I am so excited to have you guys on here. I was one of those people that did not know about Canvas Me. So for
Yeah.
those that don't know, guys, tell us what it's all about.
So Canvas Me is like the link, the easiest way to explain it, it's like the LinkedIn of the beauty space. And so there's two
Mm,
sides of the platforms where students and pros come onto our site and they can create these beautiful portfolios. So in place
okay.
of a Word doc resume, you're really humanizing yourself through your craft, through who you are. What are your values? What are you looking to do in
Okay.
the future? Who are you today? What are your dreams? And so you can upload photos, you can upload video. Again, we also highlight where you went to school, right? You can add
Okay.
the work history and things like that that would normally live on a resume. But then it's a digital representation of who you are. You can share
Hmm.
it with anybody in the world and be seen by anyone, right? So it beats that Word doc resume that's sitting on your
Okay.
desktop or sitting on somebody's desk, right? You can be seen anywhere in the world through your Canvas Me link. And then the other side of the platform is where beauty businesses or beauty brands come to Canvas Me and they can post career opportunities.
Nice.
Yeah, it's about full-time roles, but it's more than that. It's about mentorship. It's about how do I become an educator? How do I work
Okay.
behind the scenes of a brand, right? So it's about all opportunities to level up at every single level. And the job opportunities are not like a traditional job board. Job boards have
Right.
been around for decades, right? And they don't help us better understand what that opportunity is. And so what the Canvas Me career opportunity looks like is it's very visual. There's a ton of video, so I can watch behind the scenes of the brand or the business I'm thinking of working for.
Right.
I can watch interviews with their happy employees. So there are all these videos that you can pin to your career opportunity that give that professional a little bit of an inside look as to what
Okay.
they're applying for before they apply.
Mhm.
Nice. I love it. So now, what's the backstory to Canvas Me? Were you guys already in the beauty industry? Was it just something that really intrigued you? Like, how did Canvas Me come about?
Good question. So Jen and I have spent a lot of time within beauty. We spent, I think, probably it's our 22nd year in the industry, but we've always been on the technology side of the beauty industry.
Okay.
Before Canvas Me, actually, Jen and I held high roles at a software company called Millennium Software. I don't know if you're familiar with,
Okay. Hmm.
but they're one of the largest POS companies in the beauty industry. So we helped really work with and help grow tens of thousands of salons, spas, barbershop schools all over the country. And so we were able to really dig deep and learn what's keeping salon owners up at night. What are their biggest
Hmm.
challenges? And if we had a dollar for every time a salon owner will call us and say, "How do I find talent? How do I
Yeah.
film?" We would be millionaires already, right? So like
Right.
we realize that recruiting and hiring is one of the biggest challenges in our industry because it's never really been professionalized. There's no real process when it comes to recruiting. And then you have so many business owners in our industry that are behind the chair that are doing so many different things. They don't have
Hmm.
time to effectively recruit. And
Exactly.
what we realize is it becomes a systemic issue because if you don't have the time to put into recruiting the right people, you're not building the right cultures.
No.
What happens is that your business becomes a turnstile door where people are leaving within 6 to 12 months, and it's a cyclical process, and they don't ever get it fixed. And so we built Canvas Me to solve that problem.
Yeah, and I think too, we always knew it was a problem for years. I mean, this has
Hmm.
happened year over year, people were asking this question, but it wasn't until I went through this purpose discovery exercise that we now take all of our members on.
Okay.
It was I never in a million years thought I'd have the courage, the guts to be this entrepreneur that we are today until I went through this exercise and I recognized that my purpose is to give people a voice to
Hmm.
help them find their place of belonging. And so when we recognize, yes, this is the problem in the beauty industry,
Hmm.
problem stemmed from the fact that beauty professionals and students weren't really showcasing who they were through Word doc resume.
Right.
Process was really broken. And so if I recognize if we can create a platform that empowers students and pros to have a voice on a national level through a portfolio so they can
Hmm.
find their people, find their place of belonging, then I would have served my purpose and fulfilled a need in the beauty space. And so we took this big leap, quit our jobs, moved across country,
Nice.
and to pursue this amazing platform.
Yeah, we actually rented out our house in New Jersey.
Nice.
We had two little kids, I think 4 and 6 at the time. And
Okay.
Jen's mother was living in California. So we quit our jobs. We got rid of everything that we had, all of our bills. We moved in with Jen's mother. And
Okay.
Jen and I and our two kids shared a bedroom for 2 years. So we
Oh,
minimized bills. We didn't, and we just focused on building the business. And that's what we did.
okay. Did everybody think you were crazy?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure now they're just like, oh, you guys may be onto something, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that it quickly changed. But yes, I mean, I think Jen and I have always been go-getters. We've always been
Hmm.
really driven. So I think people were they knew that we were on the right path. I think they were just scared because we were just taking such massive risks
With two little
Right.
with
kids.
two little kids, right? And I think
Right.
had we not had kids, I think it would have been a much easier decision, probably something we would have done way before we did in 2019. But yeah, we just, everything's timing. You got to just trust the universe. And we felt like this was the moment for us. And so we did it.
Wow, yeah. So I actually found out about Canvas Me through a girlfriend that worked for Salon Centric as a business coach. And I'm new to Chicago looking for a salon. And she's like, oh, look up Canvas Me. And I'm just like, what is that? And she's like, oh, you've never heard of that? And I was like, no. So I looked you guys up and I'll be honest, I created a profile and kind of just left it like
Mhm.
months and months ago. And I was just like, all right, whatever. And I think I got desperate and needing a job. And I was like, girl, we have to do something. And so I revisited it and I got serious about it, did my videos, did my profile. And I want to say within 1 week, I had like people looking at my profile, other companies, other salons, sending me messages, and actually got a new position with Mazzani.
Amazing.
So
Congrats. That's
like I was
awesome.
going to ask you guys about like testimonials and success stories, but I guess I am one
Yes.
that it's working. It really is working. And so for that, can you give me any other success stories or how it's really working for beauty professionals?
Yeah, I think everyone's story is super different. We actually just had a team member go to Bronner Brothers this past weekend, and
Okay.
somebody that created a portfolio. She got a role at a cosmetology school, which was a dream to
Okay.
educate, and then she got hired as an educator for a brand as well. So just leveraging her portfolio, she landed two different roles. We've had people like yourself that are relocating, don't know anybody, not really sure, creating the portfolio, getting in front of people and getting recruited that way too. So there are so many different stories, even from a perspective of I got my license. People think it's this linear path of
Right.
school, I get my license, I work for somebody or build up my book, I maybe go independent, I have a dream of owning a salon. It's not that linear, right? We have so
Mm-hmm.
many stories of professionals in school getting mentorship roles through Canvas Me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they graduate now being really aligned with that brand and maybe doing something
Mm-hmm.
with the brand, either assisting, some kind of educator. My sister actually did this where she graduated. She's now assisting like a big time educator behind the chair. She actually, her dream, my sister's dream was to be independent. And then she came
Mm-hmm.
across this opportunity to be a mentee with this really great influencer. And she decided to go that path because Canvas Me exposed her to it, right? And so
Nice.
I think it's really just about exposing yourself to all of the different possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're in school, you have these big dreams, and sometimes those dreams become intangible because you're like, well, how do I really get there? Like, what's the
Right.
next step?
Mhm.
There's really nobody in the industry that's catering to that until
No.
Canvas Me came along.
Mhm.
And so we're really just trying to open the eyes of everybody as to there's so many different roads. We've had
Mm-hmm.
people come on our platform and they're now brand advocates or they're product reviewers, right? Like you can
Right.
get a license and have that serve you too and have multiple streams of income. And maybe you end up not working at a salon and you end up working for a corporate brand, right? On the
Right.
corporate side of things. So there's just so many different paths and so many different stories. And it's just been really incredible to see, real dreams come true,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Realize too, we realized that there's a larger number of students that actually don't graduate. They don't finish school
Mm.
throughout
Very
the country.
true.
And one of the reasons why is they become disengaged. And I think part of that is because they think that the only opportunity for them is just being behind the chair. And they don't
Mm-hmm.
realize your license can serve you in so many different ways. When
Exactly.
we were at Millennium, which is one of the biggest software companies in the beauty industry, we were hiring licensed professionals every month for
To
Mm-hmm.
salespeople. Yeah.
marketing, for sales, because that's what the people that was our target. We wanted to be able to speak
Right.
language, right? And so number one, we want to help students stay more engaged so they finish school. But then number two, there's also a large amount of licensed professionals that exit the industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's because they don't realize all the opportunities that the industry provides them. And so our goal is to make sure that we're introducing so many different avenues for
Mm-hmm.
whether they're in school or been in the industry for 10 plus years, where they stay in the industry.
Right. And I think it's really important that you guys are showing beauty professionals that there's a number of things that you can do with your career. There's just not one. And Jen, I know you mentioned mentorship. Can you tell me why it was important to include mentorship in Canvas Me? Like I've had mentors, so I know the importance, but please tell me why it was important for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my mentor is the reason why this all exists, why my
Okay.
life has completely changed from me playing super small to me stepping out of my comfort zone and
Okay.
being 100% me and really living up to my truest potential. And so these mentors, I mean, I never in a million years even thought to get a mentor. I happened to go to a beauty event and
Mm-hmm.
there was this woman on stage and she was talking about mindset and
Mm-hmm.
how to overcome false beliefs and why you're playing small. And I don't know if it was the time of my life or what it was, but it hit me. And I was like, I have to talk to this woman afterwards, which is so unlike me.
Right.
I literally sought her out. I like stalked her. I'm like, I need your help. We have to talk. And so I became very friendly with her. I started studying underneath her. And she is the sole reason why all of this exists. Why, I mean, if you would have met me 6 years ago, I
Mm-hmm.
like to speak in front of people. I played really small, super quiet, felt like I didn't have a voice, felt like I wasn't good enough. And she really helped me take those risks, take those chances. Yes, not all of the risks were huge successes,
Mm-hmm.
but it helps you overcome that level of fear. You are good enough, and why not you? And she changed our lives.
Yeah.
And so if it wasn't for her, and I think even the biggest companies and the biggest professionals in the world, they have mentors, right, to help them get to
Mm-hmm.
the level. And so it is so important to us, especially at the student level,
Mm-hmm.
because it can change your life. And I didn't have a mentor till my mid 30s, right?
Okay.
We can provide that for somebody who's 17, 18 years old. They have their
Mm-hmm.
whole life ahead of them to make change and do huge things. And so it's a huge part. I mean, I think we had 10 members and we were talking about doing mentorships, right? And so
Okay.
that was like number one. We
Yeah.
have to be mentors and create mentorship for this industry.
Yeah, and I think we realized too that as we were meeting a lot of the students that we were bringing onto the platform, so many of them, and like Jen and I, like we had certain traumas growing
Mm-hmm.
up at a young point in their career or in our career in our lives, and so those things hold you back. And so
Mm-hmm.
somebody that can help get you through those traumas and those false beliefs and that mindset, like we know now, like mindset is 90% of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the beauty industry, there's a lot of hard times, there's a lot of
Oh
struggles, and
yeah.
right? So like mindset is everything. So you need somebody that can kind of help guide you, right, with the tools
Mm-hmm.
to get through times that are hard, right? Everybody faces times
Right.
hard. And so for us to be able to provide mentorships for these young students, not only from a professional perspective, from a technical perspective, but really personal development and growth to build the best industry we can build through these amazing humans.
Wow, I love that. Now, I can say with being in the beauty industry for probably 20 years now, when I graduated from school, there weren't opportunities like this. Or even if there were, they weren't that attainable. Like, I feel like by looking at Canvas Me and seeing that there's a mentorship with Tippy Shorter, with John Mosley, like it's right there in front of you. Now,
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
I was coming up, it may have been like, oh my gosh, can I find their email? Can I find their publicist? Like, how can I get in contact with them? But you
Yep.
guys have simplified that, and I love that.
Yeah.
And these mentors are so grateful to give back.
Mhm.
They always wanted to do, they just didn't know how. And so we really
Okay.
kind of connect that bridge. Actually, it's funny, early on we were talking to somebody and they're like, I flew to France
Mhm.
to knock on this person's door
Mhm.
and tell them I want to work with them, right? And so,
Oh, yeah.
a world where we can digitize ourselves and really make human connections through digital was hugely important to us.
And to your point, like I think your point really can be generalized, right? It's so hard to get
Mhm.
these mentors, and it's the same thing for like brands and salons. Like without the process, like our platform provides a really easy process for you as an artist to create a portfolio
Mhm.
and hit that one button that says apply, and
Exactly.
that goes right to that person, right? And it's same thing with salons, spas,
Mhm.
barbershops, brands, and so again, we really made the process easy because I think that's what's really been lacking in our space.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we're beauty professionals. We want things to be easy. We love to do
Yes.
hair,
Yeah.
color, cut. Like, if we're looking for a job, we just want it to be easy. We're looking to be able to be in a space that, we get along with the people. But as far as like the technical and all that, we thank you for that because that's not what we want to do.
Yes.
When it comes to your platform, how would you guys say you are different from any other platform, which I don't even know if it really exists outside of just a platform that's just for beauty professionals to showcase themselves and find careers and jobs?
Yeah, I think what sets us apart, I think the technology is really good, but I think
Okay.
the ability to allow these artists to really humanize who they are is what
Mm,
is really different. Like we know that they need to be able to talk about their values and their goals, but they need to be able to do it in a creative digital way. So like this generation that's coming into the industry, they're digital natives, so they combine the physical
mm-hmm.
with the digital world. And I think our platform does a really good job of making sure that we're attending to those needs and what they've come
Okay.
to expect when it comes to technology as they're coming into the industry.
I think too, just the level, like our depth of experience and
Okay.
20 years in the beauty industry and
Mm-hmm.
understanding of like the intricacies of what a student feels like in school when they come out, growing up through the industry, right? I think the just the know-how of how the industry works and all the connecting of the stakeholders, I think
Mm-hmm.
has really empowered us to build a tool that makes sense in the beauty industry. And then, like Matt said, really humanization. But also our school's first approach. So I don't know that anyone, maybe they have, but we really focus on the schools, right? They're the future.
Mm-hmm.
They're our boots on the ground. They're the ones that need the immediate need, have the immediate need. And so really focusing there. So we have a big focus on education. How can we
Okay.
educate? So we have curriculum in Canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Launched to our Canvas U is what we call it. And
Okay.
our curriculum, yes, it's about, how to professionalize yourself, but it's really about that emotional intelligence piece that we alluded to in the beginning, where it's like, how do I overcome my false beliefs? What is my purpose? How do I
Okay.
share my story? So when you go sit on an interview or you meet with potential brands or you talk to people, you can answer the question when they say, tell me about yourself, right? It's such a
Right.
loaded question. Where do you start? So we really empower students and professionals to really get to the root of their purpose through education. So I know that Canvas Me, yes, is seen as somewhat of a recruitment tool, but we are
Mm-hmm.
not recruitment specialists. We are human behavior specialists.
Okay.
We to create great, amazing humans who have better communication with themselves, can better regulate their own emotions so that they can then better communicate with the outside world and live up to their full potential.
Mhm.
And that's kind of really where we stand. And yes, in creating the best being, we're creating great cultures. We're creating great people that find their place of belonging.
Yeah. And I
Right.
think if I could just add to that, I think again, I think people have tried to do this in the past, have tried to create these type of platforms for our industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I think where they struggled was to be able to, I think you could get schools on, you can get students on because they need this type of
Right.
website, right?
True.
But I think where we've really done well is really getting the brands and the salons and spas and barbershops on the other side because without both, it's very difficult to make
Mm-hmm.
matches and to have success. And so I think we've done a really good job of providing the right benefits and the right resource
Mm-hmm.
salons to create accounts, create portfolios, and have their opportunities highlighted on the platform for our members. So I mean, I think that's been the biggest challenge for people in the past. And I think we've done a good job bridging that gap.
Gotcha. And I would agree with that because I know you guys are getting out, you're going to the shows, and you're making a lot of connections. How would you say making those connections with schools, with your mentors, like how's that really impacting Canvas Me?
Yeah, well, it's just bringing so much awareness, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think these young artists that are in schools are more aware of emotional intelligence and are more eager to learn about mindset than ever before, right? Like EQ and mental health and these types of content is something that's more relevant than ever, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
talked about more than ever. So these types of ways to give back to this young community with through mentorships and guidance with really successful artists and
Mm-hmm.
throughout the industry is really creating a lot of awareness for us. So it's been exciting to see the growth. And again, it's a way for these schools to give back to their students as well. And these students are there, some schools actually require students to have mentors before they graduate, right? So
Right.
it's so I
Yeah.
think we've done a good job of making sure that we're creating the need within the platform.
Yeah, and I'm so excited too. Like we're putting people on the map that were traditionally locationally challenged, that we were
Mm-hmm.
overlooking for so many years, who felt like they just didn't have a voice
Yeah.
on
Mm-hmm.
the map. Like it doesn't matter. You're from, we were just on the phone with Jenny Strebe the other day. She's from Walla Walla, Washington. It was a really
Right.
small
Like
town.
where's
She's
that?
like, yeah. And so we're putting you on the map. You can get in front of your biggest influencer, your biggest, person that you look up to through your digital portfolio
Yeah.
and
And
through these
I
opportunities.
think it's important to realize too, like not only is this their digital portfolio, but it's a website as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
make it so we have a Sam Via mentorship coming up at the America's Beauty Show where he's gonna pick a student and they're gonna go to ABS, they're gonna be his assistant for two
Yeah,
Oh,
days
that's
nice.
exciting.
on stage, like if I'm like really eager, I can create my portfolio and talk about why I love Sam or why this would be life changing for him. And I could DM him. Yes, I could apply on Canvas Me, which I will.
Right.
can go to these other people and you can DM your link, you could text it, you could share it with them just like a website, right? So again,
Okay.
it's giving you multiple ways to connect with these people. And imagine being
Mm-hmm.
an artist and someone's sharing a portfolio with them, they're talking about like how much like it would mean to them that you spend
Right.
minutes on a Zoom call, right? So like again, it's allowing them to bridge much deeper connections with potential
Mm-hmm.
that they feel like can really help them.
Okay. So when creating that portfolio, what would be some advice for someone when creating it to make sure they're going to stand out, to make sure they're putting the right information, as far as their photos? Like, what advice would you give someone that's filling out their portfolio?
So the first thing that I would recommend is to take our purpose discovery exercise because
Yes.
Okay.
Canvas
it's
you.
a quick, it's what is it? An hour long, 30 minutes?
The exercise is probably 30 minutes long.
Okay.
So, and this is what Jen was talking about. So, like, it literally changed our lives because it allows you to identify life-defining moments, your
Okay.
false beliefs, and then how to transform your false beliefs into your superpower, into your purpose. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's really what we were able to do. So, yes, Jen, we recognize the need for a recruiting platform, but we were able to align that with our complete purpose in life, and
Okay.
that's what makes you unstoppable. And so,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing we want you to do is identify what are your core values, what is your purpose, because that's how you're going to develop that connection with potential brands, mentors,
Mm,
salon owners, spa owners, barbershop owners. You have to understand who you are, what are your values, because
okay.
if you don't, you're not going to align yourselves with the right people, and
Right.
that's why we have toxic cultures. That's why we have walkouts. That's why we have industry exits.
Mm,
I think definitely that moment of clarity of what is this? What do I want to do in my career? And then through that, really uploading some videos of yourself,
okay.
sort of your own home, right? Hey, this is me. This is really what I'm passionate about. We have seen so many students, so many videos, and the people that are their true selves on
Mm-hmm.
camera shine. I mean,
Right.
we had somebody apply for an educator role, and she was doing something silly and like filling a
Dishwasher.
dishwasher, and
Oh, wow.
it was just so authentically herself,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just see her light, and it was really cool. So I think definitely just being you, upload a couple seconds video. Who are you? What are you looking for? Making sure that you're capturing photos and video content of your work, but also more importantly, humanizing yourself through story. I mean, we even had
Okay.
somebody that humanized themselves and talked about their story of moving from Russia and being adopted. And her last memory was running her fingers through her grandmother's hair, right? And not
Nice.
all of them have to be huge, deep stories like that, right? But something to make you memorable. I mean, I'm from a small town. I want to do big things. Or when I was little, I felt like I was always overlooked. And so I went into this industry to make sure people shine, right? What is that why? What is that story?
Mm-hmm.
They set you apart from a video perspective. And then really highlighting through photos. I mean, everything is so visual in this space. Uh,
Right.
just really ensuring that it doesn't look incomplete, right? So have a feature video, have a feature photo, have a feature video, and have some my work photos and videos as well.
And I think the last thing is
Gotcha.
don't feel like it has to be perfect,
No.
right? Everybody,
Okay.
we have so many artists that actually, it's funny, like some similar to what you did. Like I met with an artist a couple months ago who created an account and she was really like her goal in life was to be a Fulbright educator, goal in life.
Okay.
But she was so scared that she like waited a year. She
Yeah.
created her
Oh,
portfolio and
gosh. Yeah.
waited a year and they ended up hiring her, right? And I was like, if you would have applied sooner, like who knows where we,
Right.
right?
Oh, I
And
felt that
so
way.
right. Right.
Yes.
And so like don't think like and I think what's so cool about this is like Canvas Me is still new enough where like these brands are getting portfolios and they're blown away because they're used
Mm-hmm.
to getting
Word
words
document.
on a piece of paper.
Right.
So you just take out your phone. You don't have to have this amazing setup and amazing light. Just take out your phone and be
Yes.
authentically you.
On your phone, right from your phone.
And
That's
you're
really
going to be
Right.
easy.
memorable alone because again, they're not used to getting like you did a great job too with your videos. You had more than
Thank
ridiculous
you.
videos and like you did a great job. And like you were like again, they're not, it doesn't have to be perfect, although yours was pretty perfect, but it doesn't
Thanks.
have to be perfect because again, they're still like blown away by the fact that these people are taking the time to talk
Mm-hmm.
about brands, to talk about why they love education, to talk about their plans and their goals. And so it doesn't have to be perfect. So I
Yeah. I
just
was guilty of that.
Gotcha.
A lot of students do that too, early professionals, is that they think that like, oh my gosh, it has to be perfect. And
Yeah.
80% of the way will help you show up and get better
Mm-hmm.
because you're getting feedback,
yeah.
right? You're getting more
Yeah.
feedback on what you're doing. So important.
Awesome. So you guys are already making a mark on the beauty industry, but as far as the future, like what do you envision for Canvas Me?
That's a good question. If you saw our roadmap, you would be like blown away.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much we can share. We can share some stuff. So I think
Okay.
definitely diving deeper into the education component,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
super passionate. I can't tell you, it's so interesting because you create Canvas Me to solve one problem, you start discovering so many other layers of that problem. And so we see a lot of professionals that call us and they're like, you know, part of creating the portfolio, there's a certification section, certifications
Okay.
and awards and celebrations, right? And that section includes badges. So if you've taken certain courses, it'll unlock badges on your portfolio. I can't tell you how many people call us and they're like, this is my goal. What badges should I be unlocking? What courses
Okay.
should I take? Where can I go to get certified in XYZ, right? There's just been no source of truth of where can I go in the industry to really level up. So we're looking to really hone in and lean into that education this year, to really empower people to career path. Like I have a goal of being a XYZ educator or XYZ influencer, whatever that is. And hey, these are some of the courses, recommended courses that you can unlock badges for on your portfolio.
Okay.
You know, I feel like the corporate world through LinkedIn has been able to celebrate all their accomplishments and show,
Mm-hmm.
I got this degree and I got that certificate.
Right.
The beauty space hasn't had that until Canvas Me. And so now you can really not just create your portfolio to be seen, but like really celebrate. Like I worked hard on this degree and, you know, this licensure, and now I'm working hard on these other components. So really empowering them through that, making it more of like a social tool where you can chat,
Okay.
do things like that. But also, we are looking at an international approach.
Nice.
Um, what else can I
Maybe
share?
that's about it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, I love the whole idea of the badges. I am one of those people like I'm goal oriented. So I like to like
Yes.
check off the boxes. I like to feel like I'm getting somewhere, that I'm growing. So I
Yep.
think that's going to be a plus. And secondly, when you mentioned LinkedIn, like I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't necessarily feel like I belong there. Like I'm a
Yes.
beauty professional. You know, like
Yeah.
my husband works in finance, so like cool, you're on LinkedIn. You got that. But
Yep.
as
Yeah.
far as like being on Canvas Me, I'm like, okay, this is where I belong.
Yep.
Everyone else is here is like me. They have pink and purple hair,
Yes.
like, so I appreciate the fact that you guys created something just for beauty professionals.
Yes. Agreed.
Yep. So when it comes to like being aligned with the whole mission of like growing the beauty industry, bettering the beauty industry, like how do you feel Canvas Me fits into that whole bigger picture?
Yeah, I think really it comes down to, Jen and I talk about it a lot. It's really professionalizing and elevating the space
Mm,
in one, right? Like we just feel like there's been like when it comes to technology, like we really want to be able to be the in the forefront of professionalism and really build the industry that we know we can. And I think that
mm-hmm,
starts leveling up our amazing members and the humans that they are. So I think elevating the entire recruiting process is going to make for better cultures. It's going to make for better
mm-hmm,
businesses. It's going to make for better lives. And I think that also includes the professionalism of understanding, again, who you are as humans, what your values are, and just that alignment with the right people and
mm-hmm.
finding the tribe is all encompassing.
Wonderful.
I think too, like we say all the time, like a portfolio makes it possible, right? Like there
Mm,
are
I like
endless
that.
possibilities. Like let's shine a light on all the endless possibilities and be the greatest humans we know we could be as a collective and elevate everything on every level.
Amazing. So there's one thing I ask every guest that comes on the show, and that is, what is your superpower as an entrepreneur?
So my superpower really stems from my limiting beliefs, right? We kind of touched
Okay.
on this a little bit, but as a child, my parents had me at 17 years old. They were seniors in high school. I was raised by my immigrant grandmother who didn't speak a
Okay.
word of English. And so ever since I could talk, read, write, communicate, I was my grandmother's personal,
Translator.
interpreter. Yeah,
Right.
translator. And so I can't remember how many times in my life that my grandmother would just get dismissed because she couldn't communicate, or she would say, "Hey,
Mm,
communicate with my granddaughter," and they would pan down and see this like 9-year-old trying to
yeah.
communicate, right? And they would dismiss us. And so I grew up with
Mm,
this huge false belief that I didn't have a voice. But also because I grew up in this non-traditional household, I grew up living with my grandparents and my two aunts. I had my cousins and my aunt who lived upstairs in a two-family house.
mm-hmm,
I grew up in this very non-traditional home, and so I often felt like I didn't belong. Like I wasn't
mm,
worthy as everyone else who had mom, dad, and siblings. And so these false beliefs were created at a really young age, but it
mm-hmm,
also created my superpower of because I felt like I didn't have a voice, I became this fearless leader that wanted to
Mm-hmm.
empower everybody to have a voice. And so
Nice.
even as I led teams and every business that I worked for, I always wanted to make sure that everybody was heard and felt like they had a voice. And it created this awesome team atmosphere where we had happy and high performing people. But also I wanted everybody to feel like they belonged. Nothing was too crazy, too out there. If you want to, paint unicorns, like whatever
Right.
it is. I mean, I'm down. Let's try it. Let's think about it. Because I knew so badly what it felt like to not feel like I belonged. And
Mm-hmm.
so those two things, yes, resulting from trauma, and this is kind of what we help people do, is transform those limiting beliefs into, because that happened to me, I am constantly aware of other people. Do they feel like they belong? I want to make sure they feel comfortable. I want to make sure they feel heard, which ultimately became my amazing superpower, because without them, I wouldn't have that innate want or need to do that.
I love it. And what about you, Matt?
So I think for me, it's the ability to make people feel good. Like
Mm,
I think in life we deal with so many different things and so many
mm-hmm.
hardships. I'm constantly going out of my way to make people feel good about themselves, to make people feel like people care. I say, Jen and I talk about this. We say hello to people every single day that we don't know, strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, how are you? Smiling. I compliment multiple people a day that I don't know. Someone at the grocery store, I like your hair, or I like your shoes.
Always.
I'm trying to like make
Yeah.
people feel good. It's always something that's on my mind. So I think I do a good job of just making people feel like they're being seen.
Amazing. I love it. So I thank you guys so much for coming on the show today. And I want to make sure all my listeners can find Canvas Me. So where can we find you guys?
So all of our social handles are at Canvas Me. So
Okay.
IG, anything's at Canvas Me. And then canvasme.com is where you can start your portfolio and see the endless possibilities.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I
Thank
wish
you.
you all the best. I am rooting for you guys. We're forever connected now.
Yes.
And thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
You
You
too.
too.